Darren, back to you.
Thanks, John. I think you can do your outdoor swimming without too many goosebumps in the next few days. It's looking quite pleasant, actually, in most places. That can't be said for the summer as a whole, of course. It has been quite disappointing. So before looking at the weather for the week ahead, let's just take a look back at how the last few months went. Some of the highlights and lowlights, as it were. Well, Scotland, it certainly was a pretty disappointing summer. Some of the figures there. Aberdeen, the wettest June and July since 1957, the same period. Saw one of the cloudiest spells of record in Edinburgh. But at least the weather started to redeem itself a little bit during August, with the temperature reaching 25 Celsius somewhere in Scotland on most days of the month. But certainly a pretty poor summer overall, and I spent 2 weeks of my summer holidays there, so I can vouch for that. Northern Ireland, a fairly similar story. Again, June and July, very, very disappointing, quite cloudy, quite wet. August, though, has been much drier, and certainly the second half of the month a lot warmer as well, just about 60% of the monthly rainfall overall. For England and Wales, well, two figures really stand out. It's been the cloudiest since 1988. It's been the wettest July since 1988, which of course tells us that 1988 must have been a real stinker. But then later in July and into August, we started to see temperatures rise, but only to set off some pretty severe thunderstorms and torrential downpours. So some of the wet days, well, July the 30th, Kinloss, the Moray Firth region of Scotland, managed their wettest July day on record. And then at Hampstead in London on August the 7th, 60 millimetres falling in just 1 hour. And statistically, you'd only expect to see that sort of intensity once every 200 years. It did get hot now and again, though. The hottest day of the whole summer was in London on July the 29th, 33 Celsius into the low 90s. Now, funnily enough, we're into September now, and we've got a weather pattern that's more reminiscent of most summers. Big area of high pressure that's moved in from the Azores, but don't get your hopes up, it's not going to last. Pushing away into Scandinavia as we go through the week, and then replaced by a rather different weather type through Thursday and Friday. Yep, that's an area of low pressure moving in to take up station to turn things rather more unsettled again through the second half of this coming week. So to make the most of this afternoon, lots of sunshine on offer, particularly across England and Wales, some prolonged spells of sunshine here, and it's going to feel quite pleasant. The winds are light, not startling temperatures, but still up to 20-21 Celsius should feel quite nice with the winds staying light. Rather cooler across the northwest of the UK though, a fair old breeze coming in. In fact, the first of the autumn gales are heading in for the Western Isles of Scotland, and eventually some rain moving in here as well, spreading on to affect the Northwest Highlands, I think, by the end of the night. But ahead of all that, high pressure holding firm, clear skies and light winds means it will turn pretty chilly again. We saw temperatures down to 1 or 2 degrees in a few spots last night, and certainly 5-6 on the cards. A few spots again could go that 2 or 3 degrees lower. Nice day tomorrow though for most places. England and Wales again getting the best of the sunshine. It'll feel a little bit warmer, temperature just edging up that degree or so. But across the northwestern half of Scotland, I think a pretty poor day, certainly north of the Great Glen. Some outbreaks of fairly heavy rain for a time, but at least those strong winds, the gales, should gradually ease away. Tuesday, not looking too bad. It brightens up across the north by then. Still some fairly reasonable temperatures further south. Just start to see something of a change coming in though, an increasing risk of 1 or 2 showers breaking out through Tuesday and Wednesday across southern parts of England and Wales. So the first sign of that weather just beginning to turn a little bit more unsettled. Across northern Scotland too, I think we might just find the odd light shower pushing in. So by Wednesday, that's the picture. Low pressure not too far away, hence the increased risk of showers. But this is the weather system that we're going to need to watch, pushing in quite quickly from the Atlantic. So by Thursday, this is the sort of pattern we're looking at. The Atlantic weather system pushing its fronts in, particularly across northwestern parts of the UK. Some fairly heavy rain for a time. Southeast corner perhaps not faring too badly, but I think by Friday, once that low becomes settled right across the UK, well, it's going to be a mixture of sunny spells and some heavy showers rotating around on fairly brisk winds, temperatures around about average. So a fairly mixed week. Make the best of the sunshine over the next 2 or 3 days. That's your forecast for the week ahead.